All right, so we've got Deja Mulipola here. Who wants to open it up? Who wants the first question? All right, Ryan, go ahead and ask that again.
Yeah, so just what was your initial reaction to, finding out that you'd be able to play for Arizona softball in 2021?
I was super excited, especially because I witnessed what it was like to kind of miss my senior collegiate year with my class, technically speaking. So, it was a little bittersweet being on the Olympic tour and kind of living out that dream, but also kind of being sad that I wasn't with my class back at Arizona, kind of playing and finishing out my year with them. So to hear that I got to do both in the end kind of was super exciting for me, and I'm just pumped that it happened that way.
Deja, this is Kim. Australia allowed Gabby Plain to stay and play with Washington last year because they said basically that was the best preparation. How do you feel about the different preparation, because you guys were basically playing the same people? Was it better to be with the Team USA, or do you think it doesn't matter?
I think it was beneficial to be with Team USA just because I know what it's like to work with my Arizona team and kind of have that chemistry with them. So that was kind of already set in stone. But playing on the field with 17 different women was just a little bit different chemistry-wise, just because I haven't gotten the same amount of reps and day in and day out practice as I did with Arizona. So I think it was very beneficial that I was on tour with them, just because the Olympics is a big deal and you have to know your teammates like the back of your hand, especially if you're going to go try to win a gold medal with them. So I think it was super helpful to be with them.
Hey, Deja, Javier Morales with All Sports Tucson. I just wanted to ask you, the senior class that's coming back is so, star-studded, and you guys have the #1 recruiting class coming in. Just Can you talk about the dynamic of next year's team and what you're looking forward to the most about playing for?
Yeah. I'm super excited. I keep telling everyone that when my class came in as freshmen, we had a superior class with Katiana Malga and Mo Mercado and Thule and people like that to kind of show us the ropes of what Arizona softball was like and what the tradition that they carried was. So I'm excited for my class to kind of be in that position and welcome a freshman class of awesome girls who are going to come in and kind of fill that role when they're in our spot. So it's kind of just continuing the Arizona softball tradition and showing them the ropes. So I'm excited that my class gets to do that.
Deja, what about the...
Oh, hi, Deja. So I just want to ask about, you had there's been some rumored transfers. There's been some that have come out and talked about it. It seems to leave Arizona softball with a lot of seniors next year and a lot of freshmen coming in. How are you going to build this camaraderie, and how are you going to get everybody on the same page over the summer? Is there anything you guys can do, before you get in the clubhouse? What can you do to kind of build that team chemistry?
Well, I think we have a lot of awesome people. Outside of just being awesome athletes, we have a lot of awesome people with great personalities. And I think that's a #1 reason why coach recruited us outside of our athletic ability. So I think we won't have any problem building camaraderie and trust and stuff like that. But we do a lot of stuff in the fall when we get there, such as the program and a lot of team building and kind of just knowing the girls prior, which is like travel ball and through your friends and stuff like that. So it's like we are in communication with each other. We get to build those bonds before we ever get to the field. So, we're great people, and I'm sure the freshmen coming in are great people as well. So we shouldn't have a problem with that.
Deja, what's the timetable look like for next year? So, for example, you're going to play for U of A, and hopefully that's going to go pretty long. And then right away you join the team the minute that ends. And where are you guys going to train? Where's everybody going to train? I'm just curious how the timetable. It sounds super exciting. It sounds like it's going to be a great year. I'm just curious how the timetable is going to work.
I don't know that as of right now. I'm just kind of focusing on what Arizona is going to look like in the fall if we can get back to school. So that's kind of my main focus. I'm pretty sure USA is kind of setting up when we're going to get together and where, and that'll be after the collegiate season, obviously, but I have no idea as of right now.
Yeah.
What did you learn from the touring with Team USA? Like, how did you improve as a player and as a person?
I think improving as a player helped when you realize you don't have to focus on school. So when you're at school, you're a student athlete. You go to school for so many hours, and then you go to practice right after, and then you kind of go to sleep and do what you have to do in between. But when you're on tour, it's kind of just softball. So everything, your focus is on softball and fueling yourself correctly and kind of getting fueled mentally and spiritually as well off the field. So it's kind of just, you're a professional athlete and you need to handle that responsibly. You know, you're an adult, so you kind of have to take care of yourself on and off the field. So I think that has bettered me as an athlete and an individual. And then also just kind of building relationships with some of the women who are the greatest in the game and kind of picking their brains as far as that aspect of, when we're in this situation, what's going to happen? What pitch do you want to throw? And kind of just learning more about like Kat Osterman and Monica Abbott and those types of players. So that has been very beneficial for me as an athlete as well as a person being on tour.
Hi, Deja. What's your off season been looking like? Like, what have you been doing to kind of stay active, I guess?
What I tell everyone is I've just gone back to the basics. It's been me and my dad since I've been a little girl, kind of before softball, the softball world. So, I mean, I've just gone back to training with him. A lot of agility work, explosive work, and then softball, obviously. So just kind of maintenance work is what I've been doing until I hear further notice.
Go ahead, Howard.
Yeah, Deja, what's the communication been like with Coach Candrea and the staff? Obviously, they must be pulled in different directions. How are you guys communicating and staying on the same page through all this?
Me and Coach Candrea have been in communication a lot, actually. Fortunate enough, I'm lucky to have somebody like him in my corner. So we have a great relationship, and we've just been having phone calls, text messages, whatever it is, I know I can go to him for. So I know that I have that support on that side, and yeah.
So you were kind of talking about how being with Team USA was like being a professional athlete. So what do you think it's going to be like transitioning back to being a student athlete where you have to balance softball with school again?
I think it'll definitely be just a little bit of a challenge, kind of like summer, you know, that break after summer and you have to get back into the grind of school and you're like, oh, I need to get my brain working again. I think that'll be what it's like. I haven't missed school since I don't know how long. I've always taken summer classes since I've been in college. So it's kind of been a little while since I've been out of academics, but I don't think it'll be too much of a challenge. Student athletes at the University of Arizona have a lot of support, whether that be academic or athletics. So I'm sure it won't be too hard for me.
Anybody else have anything else for Deja? You can go ahead and ask it if you do. Unmute yourself. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Deja. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good rest of your Monday.
Thanks.
And now we'll open it up for Coach Candrea, and whoever wants to ask the first question, just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the first question, and then we'll go back to the raising hands.
What's the easy? Oh,
go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, what's the easiest way that you can explain how important Deja will be to the team next season?
Experience, great leader, someone that we dearly missed. You know, when you have an athlete like that, that's, to me, she's the total package. She's become a really strong leader for our program. And there were times when we dearly missed her, but I'm just very, very excited to have her athletic talent back. But more importantly, just her presence on a day-to-day basis. I think she makes other people better. She's got great rapport with her teammates. She's a kid that everyone looks up to, that does things the right way. So it's a total package, and we're just very excited to have her back.
Mike, when the seniors came back, did you foresee the kind of attrition with transfers, and how do you see that affecting the program, not just this next year, but going forward?
Well, I knew that when we had the opportunity to bring our seniors back, since we had such a large class, and combine that with bringing in 8 freshmen, And that freshman class is a very strong class, very good class. I knew that it would definitely make some people kind of take a look at their future and their playing time. And, you know, every kid comes here because they want to play. But this brought a whole nother set of circumstances that I knew there would be a little bit of a trickle-down effect from it. And, you know, we had some very honest and open conversations with kids about their future and about their playing time. And I really felt like for many of them, this was the time for them to maybe look at other options if that's what was on the table for them. And so I think it has helped me be able to help these kids that maybe saw that their playing time wasn't going to be what they wanted, to make some decisions and to make a change. And so I think it wasn't I mean, I'd like to say it was a healthy transition. I don't like saying that because I always hate, you know, losing any kid from our program, but I did know that it was going to have an effect, and we've kind of worked through it. And I think, you know, we're ready to move forward.
Hey, Mike, can you comment on the expectations that will be on this team with how much talent there is on the team? But when you think about all the teams in the nation are kind of in the same situation where a lot of the players are coming back and so forth. So can you comment about your expectations on this team?
Well, our expectations are always high, and I think this gives us definitely a foundation that you very seldom have. You know, this senior class is a very unique class because they bring a lot of talent, but they have been our core for many years. And so when you walk into a season and you have that core already established, I think it's going to be a great experience for our freshmen coming in to be able to learn from this group. I think the transition is going to be quite smooth. You know, we've been having Zoom meetings and staying in contact with our kids, and a lot of the conversations has been what's ahead and how excited they are to be able to play with this group. And so I commend the group of athletes that we have as seniors, that they are a group that have done it both on and off the field. I think they're very, very excited about having the opportunity to finish their careers the right way. And our expectations are very high. Our expectations are to compete for a national championship. And I think, you know, we're just kind of waiting for the unknowns to find out when we can turn the switch on and start practicing again. I mean, that's how excited we are, I think, to get back on the field and get back to Hillenbrand. And this team is going to be very talented and should be a very good team. But, you know, like you said, around the country, there's a lot of teams that are going to be in that same boat. And so I think the softball that you're going to see this coming year is going to be elevated to even a higher level. And so I think it's going to be an exciting time for college softball.
All right, there we go. Coach Candrea, have you talked to anybody about the specifics of when you guys can get back to practice, especially, you know, what the fall will look like, if you guys have any exhibitions set up? You know, what have you heard? And then on top of that, how difficult is it going to be to get these freshmen up to speed to play at that national championship level if you guys don't have something like that?
Well, I think we're all kind of waiting for the unknown right now. I mean, it's hard to sit here and make plans when you really don't know what's going to happen. So the first thing that I kind of hang my hat on is that Dr. Robbins said that we're going to be able to start school in August, which I think is a great thing for softball. I think the good thing about our sport is that we've got the entire fall to get prepared for February. And so the sense of urgency that I'm sure soccer feels and volleyball feels and football feel are a little bit different. But truthfully, I think the key for all of us is to get football going. I think that's a major step And I think that's really where all of our energy is going right now, as to when we can get those guys back and start trying to get an understanding of what this season could look like. And for a lot of reasons, financially, it's huge. And, I think softball in itself, the day that we can start working out, I think it will be kind of what we're used to, is to use the fall to get prepared and get ready. And so we're going to have a lot of time to be able to mesh the freshmen with the senior class and the other kids that are coming back also. It's been a very, very different summer for everyone. But I know that our kids have been working hard to do what they can do and what they can control in the situation that we're in. And I know they're all very anxious to get back on the field and start playing the game that they love.
Does anybody else have any other questions for Coach Candrea?
Can I ask Deja a question? I forgot one thing.
Go ahead, Ryan.
When the Olympics, when the season was canceled and and the Olympics were pushed back, did you ever think about the possibility of maybe having to tour again and maybe coming back to Arizona in 2022? Like, what was kind of your mindset when both those things, when the softball season got canceled and then also the Olympics got pushed back another year?
Yeah, coming back in 2022 was definitely going through my mind, but either way, whether it was postponed or not, I was going to return and finish out my academics. So it didn't matter if it was 2021 or 2022, I planned to come back. It was just unfortunate that the Olympics had gotten postponed, and luckily it got postponed and not canceled. So I was just grateful for that.
Anything else for either Deja or Coach Candrea? Oh, go ahead, John.
So, Coach Candrea, we've heard from a couple of players about the process and the efforts you made to get the seniors to be able to come back. Can you talk us through some of the efforts and some of the things that you did from when you found out the season was going to be canceled up to when you heard that the seniors were going to have the option of coming back?
Well, I go back to getting ready for the Oregon State series, and everything there was kind of a big black hole, and I really thought, I didn't really know at the time whether we were just postponing our season. But I do know the day that we did decide that they were going to cancel the season, that my energy and my thoughts were like, we can't, we cannot let this senior class end this way. And so I made some phone calls around the country with people that I know and just tried to get some support that, I felt it was only the right thing to do to allow these players to finish their careers the right way. And selfishly, yes, I wanted them back because they're a talented group and I know what they mean to Arizona softball, but I was thinking more along the lines of just every senior in the country to put all this energy and work into a college career and not even to be able to have a senior day. I kind of felt like someone closed the book on us and we didn't get a chance to thank these players for what they've done for our program. And it was just a lot of uncertainty that I felt an urgency to try to find a way to get them back and get that season back to them. And so I was very, very excited when they announced that they were going to allow the seniors to come back. And I was very excited that our administration was behind that and was ready to make the financial support that we needed to bring them back. And so from then on, it was just a bit of elation to say, you know what, I can't wait to get this group back on the field and back in Hillenbrand Stadium. Every now and then I just drive by the stadium just to look at it, and it's hard to describe. It's like someone just pulled the sheets from underneath you, and that became a very different emotions for me, because once I knew that they were coming back, it was like, all right, now all of our energy is getting ready to get prepared for whenever the day happens, that we're going to be prepared to get going.
Go ahead, Hav. Oh, Hav, you're muted. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One thing about this recruiting class coming in that's interesting is a lot of them verbally committed when they were before they went to high school, and a lot of them stuck through it, and they're going to join your program. Can you talk about that? How that formulated?
Well, that was back when we were before the rules changed, and we were that early recruiting period, which was very trying on a lot of people, and we knew that we had a pretty special group of young ladies, and I think their ability to kind of hang through all of this and in the process tells you a little bit about the type of people they are and what it means to put on an Arizona uniform. And so I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's a group of talented players, but they're also very good people and high academic people. And, I know that they're just biting at the bit right now to have an opportunity to put on that uniform and play the game that they love. But it seems like we've been recruiting them for 20 years, to be honest with you, the one tough thing has been trying to keep this going for so long, because you never know what's going to happen. A seventh grader and eighth grader making a decision that they're going to go to college, things can change. But I really felt that we had a group of kids that had good backgrounds, good families, good foundations, and worked very hard at the game. I think the game is important to them. They're very competitive, and they want to play on a great team, and I think they're going to have an opportunity to do that.
What are your expectations for this freshman class? I know with the seniors coming back and a lot of roster depth, like at each position, do you kind of expect them to go to work right away, or like what are your expectations for the freshman class, I should say?
Well, my expectations for the senior class foremost is to help us bring this freshman class along. So I think they're going to be good leaders, and they're going to show kids how to do things the right way, and I think that's invaluable. Not often do you have an opportunity to do that. And it's kind of like what Deja was talking about with the Olympic team. You get to surround yourself with great athletes, and you can only get better because if you're a sponge and you open up your ears, you're going to learn a lot, and a lot more than you can if you don't have that opportunity. And so I think for the freshmen, it's going to be a learning experience. It's going to be being able to teach them how to play the game the right way from day one. And they're going to have some great role models to look at. And, it's one thing to talk about how to play the game, but it's another thing to see someone actually do it. And I think that's what we're going to be able to give them, is that valuable tool of watching great players go about their craft each and every day, how they prepare, how they go about the mental game and being able to ask questions. So I want to put the freshmen in the back pockets of all of our seniors and try to be able to pick their brains and be able to get to know everything that they can about the game and how to play the game.
Anything else for Coach or for Deja, for anybody? You can go ahead and just ask it if you do. Nobody else? All right, cool. Oh, Paul, do you?
Yeah. One question. I apologize. I was on another story they were covering me, and then I finally got on this, so I missed the beginning. I apologize if the question's been asked already. But can you please talk about what it means to have Deja recommitted back to the U of A? I mean, we knew she was going to come back anyway, but if you don't mind talking about that again, please.
Well, for me, selfishly, I think it's you hate to. I understand the Olympic situation, and I was very, very proud of her and in her corner to do whatever it took to be on that Olympic team. But selfishly, you look at the value that she brings to our program, and it's not just what's on the field, but what's off the field and the type of person she is. And so for me, it was just a bit of elation to know that I get a chance to have her for one more year and to be able to see her back in that Arizona uniform, because it was difficult because she has so much to bring. And, I understood the process and I understood what she was going through, but now it's kind of a win-win. She gets to play in the Olympic Games, and she also gets to finish her career with the senior class that she came in with. I think selfishly for our fans, I'm I'm very, very excited they're going to get a chance to see this group again.
Thank you very much.
Deja, what does it mean to you to be able to finish your career with the senior class that you came in with?
It means everything. This team is very special to me. Some of these girls I've played with since rec ball days. So, I mean, they're like family to me, and I'm super excited that I get to finish what I started with them, just because we've always talked about this since our freshman year, to kind of like, we can't wait to be seniors. We can't wait to be in their position. They're so cool. So to finally kind of get in that position and with the people I started it out with is super special to me. And to kind of just get back to Tucson and play for Coach Candrea again is something that I'm very excited about as well.
Deja, I actually have a question. Can you explain your relationship with Mariah and what it's going to mean to get to play on the same team with her?
Oh, Mariah is so special to me. Fun fact, actually, when she committed that I shared on Twitter was that when she came to try out for my travel ball team when we were 9 or 10, I actually caught her for the first time for her tryout, and she had made that team. So we kind of have grown up together through travel ball, through high school, and then we went to different colleges, but we still stayed close. So we kind of have that tight-knit sister bond, and to kind of just be able to go to college together now and finish out our senior year is so special. She texted me and was like, I'm kind of bummed you're going to the Olympics and I don't get to finish with you, but I'm so excited for you. And now it kind of worked out to where I get to play with her and still go to the Olympics. So I'm super, super pumped for that.
Anybody else have anything for Coach or Deja?
Deja, did USA softball discuss that with you about allowing you and the 2 UCLA players to go back to college, or was it just kind of something that a decision that they made and maybe it kind of surprised you a little bit?
It was just a little bit of both. Obviously, they have a lot on their end that they have to work out, but we were definitely in communication with them as well as our college coaches because it impacts us, obviously, in the end. So it was just the best decision for us as well as both teams what was going to happen. So they kept us into communication. I was in communication with Coach Candrea a lot. So, I mean, we were in the loop.
Anything else?
One more question, and if you don't mind reiterating, describe the pride you have to be able to not only represent the United States, your country, but represent the University of Arizona at the same time.
Yeah, so much pride, just because at the University of Arizona, I have Coach Candrea and Kate who kind of know what the process, like you said, is about. So to have that support and kind of them sharing what they went through during the Olympics and kind of share it with me who's never been to the Olympics and kind of just soaking it up like a sponge, like Coach Candrea said. I mean, I don't know what it's like, and I'm kind of just living out my dream of playing softball and traveling the world and going to the Olympics all in one. So I mean, it's just a joyride for me, and to represent my country and my family and the university as well is just a big bonus.
Anything else? All right, cool. Well, thank you everybody for joining this today. I will send out the link when it's